everyone. New surroundings. I am upstate Elmira visiting my father, and also we are looking at the new house that my parents recently purchased and bought. I will do a video tour on that house in the future. In the meantime, in today's review, I will be reviewing It's a Wonderful Life from 1946. The film was directed by Frank Capra. It stars Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, and Lionel Barrymore. The film was released on December 20th, 1946. The film was well received and got great reviews by critics and audiences for the time. But unfortunately, the film grossed $3.3 million at the box office. It was not a box office success. And for its time, it didn't really have a fan following at the time. The film was not really lost. It was forgotten throughout the years until the 70s. It was rediscovered, and ever since then, the film has been shown on TV. It's been considered one of the most watched films around Christmas time. It's considered one of the greatest films and a Christmas classic that everybody watches every Christmas, including me. This is probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time. The movie was based on a short story called The Greatest Gift. It was written by Philip Van Dorn Stern. It's a Wonderful Life is a story and the biography life of George Bailey. We see how when he was a little kid growing up, his dream was to leave Bedford Falls and go out exploring and travel the world. When he grows up, his father dies, and he has to take over the family business, because if he doesn't take over the family business, Old Man Potter, a mean, rich, greedy, nasty person, will take over and buy the business. George Bailey takes over his father's business and puts his dreams on hold. Throughout the entire movie, we see how George Bailey is not happy and satisfied with his life. George does not realize how he's had a positive impact on people of Bedford Falls. Like, for example, during the Depression, when there was no money in the bank, he lent the people of Bedford Falls some money until the banks reopened with money. George also does not realize how that he has a wife and family that loves him a lot. George also does not realize how that he has become a positive role model for the people of Bedford Falls, and he has great friends that appreciate him. On Christmas Eve, George's brother is coming home from the war as a war hero, and his Uncle Billy accidentally misplaces $8,000 that they owed to the bank examiner. He accidentally put it on Old Man Potter's wheelchair leg. This causes George Bailey wanting to commit suicide because he did not want to go to jail. Just as he's about to commit suicide, an angel named Clarence is sent down from heaven to save George Bailey's life. And he shows George Bailey what his life would have been like if he was never born. I love It's a Wonderful Life. It's my favorite Christmas movie. It's my go-to Christmas movie that I watch every Christmas. It's also one of my go-to feel-good movies. What I love about It's a Wonderful Life, it's a movie that makes us all think about what would have happened if we were never born. Because sometimes I've had those thoughts in my mind, thinking about what life would have been like if I wasn't born. Besides the what-if analysis of not being born, what I also really like about It's a Wonderful Life is that it defines and shows what makes a man rich. It's not about how much money he has in his bank account, or having fancy cars, or living in a big mansion. What makes a man rich is that he has friends and family who love, care, respect, and honor him for who he is, and how he's a big positive role model for people. It's a Wonderful Life can be beautiful, touching, heartwarming, dark, and dramatic at times. This movie has some of my favorite moments and movie scenes in film history. Like, for example, when George Bailey confesses his love to Mary, it's funny and awkward, but done so well, beautifully, that the moment when they start confessing their love for each other, it's because it shows how George and Mary were both faithful and loyal to each other, and that Mary did not want to marry Sam Wainwright because he was a player, and that George was the only man she ever loved. It amazes me how that scene was done in one take, because originally Jimmy Stewart had a lot more to say in that scene, but he improvised it and didn't say all the lines that he was supposed to. And Frank Capra was happy and satisfied with it, because he pointed out about how that you don't have to be 100% with a script. Sometimes improvising makes it much more better than just going by what the script says. When George is offered a job from Old Man Potter, I love it when he turns him down, rejects his offer because he realizes that working for Old Man Potter is like selling your soul to the devil because Old Man Potter is mean, rich, greedy, and not a good person. When we see the alternate timeline when George Bailey was not born, it's dark, it's creepy, it's scary, and hell. It's like something out of a horror movie that Hitchcock did. My favorite moment of the movie is the ending because it's such a beautiful, sweet, and happy ending for George Bailey. Okay, this is a little bit of a spoiler right here. If you haven't seen the movie, stop the video right here and go watch it and see what I'm talking about. After when he's in trouble of owing $8,000 to the bank examiner, the people of Bedford Falls pay him back. It's a way of paying him back after when he lent them money during the Depression. Jimmy Stewart does a great job as George Bailey. He's fantastic, and you almost really feel like he really is a real person. He's kind, caring, thoughtful. George Bailey is a great character and has always been a character I've always been able to identify with. What I love about George Bailey is that I can understand and relate to what he goes through of not being happy and not being satisfied because I feel the same way sometimes. Like I'm not like happy and satisfied with a lot of other areas of my life that I feel like I've not accomplished a lot of different things in my life. I love Donna Reed as Mary. She loves George. She's loving, caring, and supportive of George. Lionel Barrymore plays Old Man Potter. He's mean, he's greedy, he's rich, he's a jerk, narcissistic. He doesn't care about anyone but himself and money. That scene when Uncle Billy accidentally puts the money on his leg, I'm like, no, Uncle Billy! Every time I watch, I try to like imagine like an alternate like scene if like Uncle Billy remembered that he accidentally put the money on Old Man Potter's leg in the paper. Here are my facts on It's a Wonderful Life. Believe it or not, despite this being a Christmas movie, it was shot during the summertime. It was hot and they were sweaty. Frank Capra and Jimmy Stewart have claimed this is their favorite movie they ever did. As a matter of fact, I think this is Frank Capra's masterpiece, and definitely Jimmy Stewart's best movie. Jimmy Stewart's first movie right after World War II. At first he didn't want to do it, but then Lionel Barrymore convinced him to play the part of George Bailey. Jimmy Stewart was nervous when he was doing the kissing scene with Donna Reed because it was his first on-screen kiss on film since World War II. Falls was a set studio rather than an actual like real town, despite that it feels like so realistic. It was made by RK Studios, but years later Paramount bought the rights for it for home video releases. Sheldon Leonard, who plays Nick, the bartender, he only did this movie so that way he can get some money to buy baseball tickets. At George's brother's wedding, Uncle Billy leaves the party drunk. As he walks off set, a crew member accidentally drops something, and then Billy shouts, "I'm okay, I'm alright." It was improvised that Frank Capra liked it so much he kept that in the movie, thinking it was funny. Martini is based on Frank Capra's family who immigrated from Italy. During the making of this movie, it was so hot that Frank Capra gave everybody the day off so that way they were recovered and recuperated. Donna Reed's first starring role as an actress. The part when Mary throws the rock at the house that she wants to live in with George. Originally, Frank Capra was going to have somebody else throw the rock for her instead of her, but not knowing that she was a baseball player growing up, once Frank Capra saw her throw the rock, he was very impressed and he decided to let her throw the rock and not get somebody else. H.B. Warner was drunk in the scene when he hits George by accident, not knowing that the pills were poison. In the movie, we learned that George Bailey wants to go to college to be an architect. In real life, Jimmy Stewart went to school to learn how to be an architect. Mitchell, who plays Uncle Billy, was considered for Old Man Potter before Lionel Barrymore. Throughout the years, there was a false rumor that supposedly the characters of Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street were inspired from the two names from this movie, Ernie the cab driver and Bert the cop. According to Jim Henson, this turned out to be false. Despite being a Christmas movie, the film only takes place on Christmas Eve and there's no Christmas Day scenes. Before I wrap up this video, I forgot to mention Henry Travers as Clarence. Clarence is an angel sent from heaven, from God, to protect George and save George's life from committing suicide and teaching him a lesson. What I love about his performance as Clarence, he does a great job showing him that he's had a wonderful life and he's made a great impact on these people. And if he was not born, these people would not be where they are today because of him. It's a wonderful life. Hope you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe, and click that notification button to get my latest updates on my channel. A little late posting this even though Christmas is over, but in the meantime, happy belated holidays and Happy New Year.